All right. Okay, everybody. Thank you all for being here. It's great to see everyone. It's great to have such interest in this program. Again, my name is Caroline Villanova. I work with the Mountains to Sound Greenway Trust, and I am helping facilitate the Trailhead Ambassador Program. You are all here, I hope, to learn more about the program, and we'll hopefully answer your questions. I'm here with an awesome group of panelists who have helped create this program and are a big reason why it's happening. So I'm extending some extra thanks for you all for being here this Thursday evening. I also want to hand it off for you to introduce yourselves. So again, I'm Caroline Villanova. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm excited to chat with you all this evening. I'll toss it to Suzanne.
Hi, I'm Suzanne Kagan. I use she, her pronouns as well, and I work for Washington State Parks as a program specialist, putting on various events.
How about you, Deloa?
Hey, I'm Deloa with the Mountaineers and Seattle Outdoor Adventures, and I'm also on the Mountains to Sound Greenway board. Great to have y'all.
Thanks, Deloa. And Rick?
I'm Rick Oakley. I prefer he, him pronouns. I am a park ranger with Washington State Parks, and I manage the Olali State Park and the Palouse to Cascades State Park Trail.
Great. Thanks, Rick. And Tom?
Hi, I'm Tom Anderson. I'm he, him pronouns, and I'm a hike leader and board member for Issaquah Alps Trails Club.
So again, you're here, today's the 11th of March, and we are here to just provide some information about the Trailhead Ambassador Program and hear some of your questions. So we're gonna get right to it. Here's our little agenda. So we already did the panel introductions. Thanks again to our panelists. We're gonna get into some public health considerations and guidelines, and we'll talk about the meat of this program and the opportunities that you'll have as a volunteer if you do decide to participate. We will have some next steps for you, so stick around for those, and then of course the questions and answers. So super excited to get started, and thanks everyone again.
The COVID-19 pandemic and subsequent guidelines will have an impact on this program. As a result, we're beginning virtually with the required self-paced virtual training for all potential volunteers. During this time, we're working closely with recreation land managers to ensure that trailheads can accommodate this volunteer opportunity. We're following all public health guidelines during any future in-person component of this programming, and we acknowledge that recreation will continue to be popular in Washington State and beyond, possibly even exemplified by the pandemic. And we understand that encouraging responsible and welcoming recreation is needed now more than ever.
Thanks, Deloa. All right. So now we're hopeful that we're gonna get our first poll up. And this is just to get us thinking about what gets us outside and what's our favorite ways to explore. So if you have a moment, could you please think of what is your favorite way to explore? And you should be able to have multiple choices too. I know it's hard to choose, and this does not represent every way to explore, just some of the ways. Here are the results. Hiking, trail running and biking, water, equestrian, on Google Earth. There's got a couple, another. Awesome. Well, thanks everyone. We'll have a couple more polls, so keep yourselves on your toes. Keep trying to keep you on your toes. But here we go. Thanks everybody.
Well, we are lucky people to live where we live, just a short drive from Seattle, and more broadly, the communities that make up the Seattle metro area. We're immersed in the scenic landscape and the beauty of the area that we live in, the Issaquah Alps, the Snoqualmie Valley, and on up to Snoqualmie Pass. There are just a myriad of hiking options all along through that region. These are hiking destinations which are close by, easily accessed, many with year-round access, and cover a full spectrum of skill levels. We have forests, salmon-bearing streams, alpine lakes, wildlife corridors, peaks, and just a bountiful degree of beauty and magnificence in this geographic area. Well, this is not a well-kept secret. It's the word is out, and hiking is on the rise. According to Seattle Times poll, hiking has doubled in the last 9 years. And just putting that in the context of population growth in general, King County population has been growing only about 2% a year, yet hiking is growing about 8% a year. So we're outstripping our population growth, and we're exceeding the capacity of some of these trailheads. It's a very popular thing to do here in the Seattle area. Here's an example of such a hike, a very classic, easy hike on Rattlesnake Mountain. Gets a lot of use day in, every day of the week. This is a popular and heavily used trailhead.
And just to provide a bit, oh, sorry there. And just to provide some more context of what we're doing here is we're really focusing in on our pilot year on the Mountains to Sound Greenway National Heritage Area. So that is outlined in green on the map. And this is an area that includes so it's a 1.5 million acre landscape, but that within that includes more than 900,000 acres of public land. So to build off what Tom was speaking to, we have a lot of access here in this beautiful landscape. And as a national heritage area, it's an area where historic and cultural and natural resources can combine to form a cohesive and significant landscape. So we're really excited to be part of this. As an organization, the Mountains to Sound Greenway Trust really combines our resources with help from our partners, and we lead and inspire action to conserve and enhance the landscape across the Greenway, which stretches from Seattle over the Cascade Mountains and into central Washington. So we really are working together with partners to help ensure a long-term balance between people and nature. And we're really looking for collaboration so this area can continue to be enjoyed by everybody. So like this program, the Greenway Trust as an organization is bringing together many interest groups, but really working in collaboration with our partners, because we believe that together we can strive to make our environment and our communities healthier and happier. And we also believe that with education and stewardship, those are both two things that are so important for protecting our public lands. So we're hopeful that when trail users and people experiencing the outdoors understand the impact on public land and can take action to avoid and reduce some of those impacts, we can really work together to help ensure that public lands are sustained.
Well, I'm not surprised to see that all of you have seen many of the issues that as a land manager I've seen also over the past 5 to 10 years. As visitor activity has increased, so has negative activity that dramatically impacts our public lands, such as litter, the dog poop bags left on the trail, vandalism, parking lots that are overflowing, user-made trails, and even people playing music from portable speakers while they hike. Other land managers are in our area have experienced the same issues, and together we realized that we could turn this problem into an opportunity to engage, educate, and connect with trail users. So in 2018, a group of land managers and outdoor recreation nonprofits, including state parks and DNR, the U.S. Forest Service, the Mountain Sound Greenway Trust, Washington Trails Association, the Mountaineers, Issaquah Alps Trails Club, and many other groups joined together to try to come up with some solutions to these problems. This group came up with a shared vision, which is to inspire visitors to protect public lands by teaching stewardship behaviors while recreating on trails near Washington's largest metropolitan area. So the Trailhead Ambassadors Program is the program that will help us realize this vision. In the past, land managers such as myself have relied on signs and posters and press releases to try to manage behaviors that are negatively impacting our trails. But the Trailhead Ambassador Program will take a new approach by relying on knowledgeable volunteers that will actively engage and educate trail users. A key element to this program is that it's not going to be one group policing trail users about things they may be doing wrong. Instead, it's about engaging trail users in positive and proactive ways, empowering them to care for the lands. Positive, proactive interactions with trail users will foster users that love and care for these special places and truly become stewards of the land.
So what can we do about it? Well, this is where you come in. If you decide to become a Trailhead Ambassador and go through our training program, we will engage you to go out and meet people where they are at the trailheads, the most popular ones along the Snoqualmie Valley and the corridor up to Hyack. There are a bunch of different places where we've seen some of the negative behaviors that were mentioned before, and we want to engage people and try to see if we can't change their behavior by educating them and inspiring them to honor the land and take care of it the way that we all would like to see it taken care with. There's a whole leave no trace principles that we teach you to teach other trail users to use and encourage them to take action, be safe out on the trail, be ready to go out on the trail, and also to reduce the number of search and rescue missions that we have to perform going out for people who are ill prepared to go out on the trails. So your primary role will be to be a welcoming and friendly face, to be engaging and encouraging, and encourage people to do the right thing. And like Rick just said, again, you will not be expected to do any kind of enforcement. You're purely there to set a good example, model, and educate people about the best use of the public lands that we all love so much. So if you are interested in more of this program, stick around. We're going to give you some more information, and you'll be asked to sign up and perhaps participate in this program.
So what are the responsibilities for Trailhead Ambassadors? Well, first of all, you'll have to complete the training, which, as I had mentioned earlier, it's virtual during COVID. Second, you'll sign a volunteer waiver and you'll agree to the volunteer code of conduct. And then you'll participate in at least 3 half-day shifts throughout the hiking season, which is May through September. You'll arrange reliable transportation to and from the trailhead and be able to transport that material to the pickup location. And you need to be 18 years or older to be a Trailhead Ambassador. And what are the incentives? Well, first of all, Your actions will play a direct and active role in stewarding public lands. You will have experience in community outreach and public engagement. You'll get Trailhead Ambassador swag. Your volunteer time could be put towards a free Northwest Forest Pass and/or a Discover Pass. And if your organization has benefits and incentive programs, you will be able to take advantage of that. If you're a mountaineer, you will receive a stewardship credit for being a Trailhead Ambassador.
So if this sounds intriguing, the next step is to fill out the Trailhead Ambassador interest form. And I think we're going to post the link to that. Oh, yes, there it is in the chat. We have the link to that there in the chat. So you fill that out, declare your interest in this program. And we have 5 trailheads that we're targeting here for the initial season of this. And if you have any preferences there, you can state them, and that'll be something that you can do on a per sign up basis moving ahead to decide which trailheads you are particularly interested in serving. It's all first come, first serve though. So if you have a particular interest, you need to hop on it. And well, fill out that form, send it in, and then you will be invited to begin the training curriculum. Leave no trace is a big part of that. There's other things that are covered in there too. It's all online, so it can be done at your pace, at your convenience, in your home. And it's designed to take about 6 hours to complete. But it's kind of self-paced, so it all depends. And then we asked, please help us get the word out. So whatever people you interact with on a daily basis, let them know about this. You can share information on Facebook or Instagram or whatever social media you like to use. That's helpful too. We're anxious to get the word out. We've had pretty good turnout here for these informational sessions, but we anticipate we may need some more people. So it's still worthwhile spreading the word for this great program.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone. And thank you again to our awesome panelists for helping explain this program. And we'll get to all of your questions, but we really are just so thankful that you're interested in this program, that you are going to be hopefully part of the solution on public lands. And again, just a reminder, we are still in a time of being flexible and compassionate about moving forward in in-person activities. So thank you for the patience with that. But I'm super happy that everyone got to learn a bit more about the program and took the time out of your evening to do so. So we really can't wait for this to get started and for you to be part of it. So, all right. So now I'm going to open up the question and answers. We're going to start with some of the written ones. All right. So this first one looks like Rick is ready to answer, but I'll read it. So, how will the ambassadors reach the folks that are behaving inappropriately? It seems like a soft sell approach runs the risk of just preaching to the choir, meaning only the good behavior folks may stop by the tent.
All right, I like it. A hard question right from the beginning.
Yeah.
So, well, this is a new program, and we're trying new approaches. So, I understand how some people may think that it may be preaching to the choir, but a lot of research has been gone into this program, and one of the things that we're really looking at doing is what's called positive social normative pressure. And so a lot of research is showing that when you highlight a lot of negative behavior, it actually has the exact opposite effect than you anticipate. So when we post all of our signage about how there's so much litter on the trails, the exact opposite message than what you expect is sent out. The message that's sent out is that everybody else litters on the trail, so it's probably okay for me to do the same. So we're going with a positive approach and positive message, and we're going to see how that works, because as a land manager and a field staff, I am the one that unfortunately has to go out there and, you know, do a more approach that is punitive and addressing people that are behaving inappropriately. And I'll tell you, it's not always effective either. So besides, we don't want volunteers being put in a position where they have to police other people and have negative interactions with people. So we think that this positive approach is definitely the way to go.
Great question, and thank you, Rick. All right, I saw that some folks had their hand raised. I honestly think I'm a little Zoom inept there, but we're just going to keep on these with the written questions. Sorry, folks. All right, so how about ambassadors at Tiger Mountain Trailhead? Anyone interested in taking that one? All right, I can jump in. So that's a great question. This is a pilot year. So we originally had to plan for a limited number of trailheads, and we did our best to choose ones that had high visitation and also represented a wide spread of our land management agencies to represent this collaborative program. We're really hopeful that we're having a successful pilot year with a lot of learning, and that this program can expand. So that's sort of our initial start. Was just, it's the first year, so we had to put a cap on it, but I love the enthusiasm for others. All right. So you're looking to fill 5 spots. How many have expressed interest? You stated it's first come, first serve. Suzanne.
So we're going to have people out at the various trailheads during the summer on the weekends. At this time, we will be only doing the weekends. And it will take a whole group of people, because you will be assigned 2 people at a time to staff the various locations. And when it comes time to sign up, we're going to need multiple people on the same day. We anticipated having up to 80 volunteers, and I believe so far we have some like 25 plus signed up. Does that sound about right, Caroline?
Yeah, and we had a lot of interest after our last webinar. So yeah,
Right.
about 30 people have filled out the application.
Okay, so even more than the last time from what I had heard. So you know, if another 30 show up from sign up from this webinar, we'll be at 60, and then you go and tell your friends. I'm sure we're going to get up to 80 fairly quickly. If you're super enthusiastic and you want to be the one to go out every single weekend, I'm sure we can make that happen.
Thanks, Suzanne. Another question, so about the interest form. So can interest forms be filled out as an organization or nonprofit and not as an individual? Rick.
So we actually need to have the interest forms filled out by individuals. The interest form is actually used to set up your online training. So before you can sign up for shifts, each person that volunteers will have to go through the online training session. And so that's how we track who has gone through each training. Then each individual slot for shifts will be filled up by the individual also. So, but if you have an organization that wants to have, you know, has a bunch of people that want to volunteer, just share the interest link to the organization, have everybody fill it out individually. And then if you want to work shifts with other people in your organization, we'll work with you to make sure that the shifts are co-signed up for.
Yes, that it's sort of like just a function of internal communication to that form. So thanks. The next question, does the training need to be completed in one session? Philoa.
Yeah, so the training is set up to be self-paced, virtual at this time, and we estimate that it will take about 6 hours to do it. And so it's self-paced. You can do it, you know, when on those days, on those times when you have the opportunity to do that. It's on your schedule.
Yes. And another question on expanding. So if the pilot goes well, will additional days and or locations be considered? Suzanne, you want to take that one?
Yeah, so again, this is the pilot year, so we have to do a little beta testing and see how it goes. And I'm sure that with the success that we expect, we'll have even more interest in expanding the program to other trailheads. Right now, especially with COVID, we're working with the land managers to determine the timing and the exact schedule for the staffing the program. But we are planning on doing it from May until September. COVID willing and the creek don't rise. So we want to get you guys trained up in the coming weeks so that we'll be ready to go when the time comes.
Yes. All right. I filled out the volunteer form a few days ago, but I've not heard back or got the link of the training program. Should I resubmit? Great question. No, you should not resubmit. So we're collecting all of those forms and we're going to do a big batch into the training program. So definitely we've got your forms if you've already submitted them. Thank you for doing so. But yeah, you are in the same boat as everyone else. We're just kind of waiting to get everyone onto the training together. All right. Thanks everyone for all these questions. These are awesome. All right, so are you considering having Trailhead ambassadors at other locations beyond the ones listed, I-90 corridor? So we kind of answered that one. Right now we're focusing on the small number for the pilot year, but we're excited about your excitement and how this can expand. All right, another scheduling question. How soon would the schedule be completed for May to September? Great question. I can take this one. So this will be on a rolling basis as we kind of put on work with our land managers to make sure what days that it would be appropriate for these tabling positions. So right now we'll have those up as individual experiences for you to register for. So you and a partner, or we'll pair you up with people and we'll kind of go. Right now we'll be doing them like more so month by month and not the whole thing at one time. All right. Oh, I think, okay, so how many people are you hoping to have as ambassadors for the year? Philo, you want to grab that one?
Yeah, we're able to accommodate up to around 80 people this year.
Awesome. Okay, so we're looking for more specifically, what will the Trailhead ambassadors be doing? Chatting, welcoming, passing out swag, handing out trash bags?
And the answer is yes, all the above. So as I mentioned earlier, we're looking for positive interactions, answering questions specifically about the trail information, but we will also be developing some short educational sessions with interactive features about specific leave no trace concepts and principles. So it would be like a 2 to 3 minute little education session that you could give someone right before they head out on their hike. So all of those things, and we'll have specific information for each trailhead, like a little cheat sheet. If someone asks you a question that you may not know off the top of your head, like how much elevation gain does this trail have? You'll be able to look it right in front of you.
Will we be working on a trailhead in pairs, in a group, or alone?
Yeah, you will be working in pairs. And one of the two people needs to be able to have a vehicle that can transport the equipment. We have a pop-up booth that folds up fairly small. We've got a pop-up table that also folds up about 3 to 4 feet. So one of the people will always need to be able to accommodate that. And you'll be there with 2 people. If you have a friend who has also gone through the Trailhead ambassadors, you can request to work with your friend.
Yeah, so everyone who kind of is at the booth, we do ask that they've also gone through the Trailhead Ambassador training, but you can be paired up with someone that you would like to be paired up with. So, oh, another expansion question. So focused on the Greenway, but you do most of your hiking up the Mountain Loop Highway. Would you ever expand to other regions or partner with WTA, for example, to work throughout the state? Great question. I can grab this one. So we actually do partner with WTA. They're one of the main partners of this organization. And it's great that everyone's interested in expanding this already. We're still in the pilot year. We learned that we gathered a lot of this information and did a lot of this research through other states that have done similar programs, and a lot of the same questions and same like expansion questions were being asked, and we're slowly figuring out how this program can work in this area and how it can be applied to other regions in the state. So we're excited to be able to be a supporting partner in those expansions and still figuring out exactly what is needed to make that happen. So thank you for that question. And yes, we're always looking for partnerships and everything in this program. Will there be additional trailheads if you fill up all the existing needs on the list? So Rick, you can answer that one.
Yeah, that's certainly a problem that we hope to have, that there's too many volunteers and not enough slots. But we worked really closely with different land managers to identify the trailheads in the I-90 corridor that are the busiest and have the biggest problems. And so that's our ideal spots to work with this season. If we just have an overwhelming number of volunteers that aren't getting work, then we definitely are active with all land managers and can look at other options. So certainly a possibility.
Thank you. Oh, and the next one too. So love that you noticed this. Some of the Trailhead Ambassador locations line up with Trailhead Direct destinations. Will ambassadors be well versed on the service and spread the word about taking transit to go hiking?
And yes, that is also in the works. As you may be aware, Trailhead Direct was on hiatus last season, and we're still not sure whether Trailhead Direct will be running this season, but if it is, then we will have all kinds of information for the ambassadors to provide to the visitors about utilizing that program.
All right. Can I sign up for multiple trailhead locations?
Well, I love the enthusiasm of this group. This is awesome. You guys get the gold star for the day. Yes, you can sign up for as many as you want. We're going to ask that everybody spread the love a little bit, so don't sign up for every single shift that before somebody else gets a chance to do it. But if you want to pick and choose a few from, do one weekend and then another one another weekend. Obviously, you can't do the one at the same time on the same day unless you figured out how to clone yourself. So, but yeah, we expect there to be a lot of opportunity to sign up for multiple locations, so you don't have to stick to the same one.
All right. So for organizations like the Mountaineers, WTA, In My Backyard, King County Interns, Esquelps Trails Club, can those groups wear their t-shirts or logos to also have their program visible? Tom, do you want to take this one? Well, you might be muted.
Unmute. Am I unmuted now?
Yeah, you're great.
Okay, yeah. So I don't think we've discussed this particular one, but I believe the answer is well, yes, you can wear your logo wear from other like-minded organizations. I guess there might be some problem areas there, but in general, no, I think that would be fine. And we have many partners. These organizations you mentioned here are already declared partners, so there would certainly be no problem or conflict of interest there in any of that. So that would be great. I suppose you could even proselytize a little bit for your favorite organization. Sure, why not?
All right, another question. What would the exact role of the ambassador be? Would they be proactively talking to hikers or share materials at the booth or tent?
I can take that one too. So you'll have to kind of gauge visitors. I've done this quite a bit working out there, and you kind of tell hikers that want to just jet off and get on their way, and those that may be more interested in seeing what you have to say. So some people will approach you, and otherwise we also will teach you some icebreakers to engage with people to see if they would want to just talk to you for 2 or 3 minutes.
All right. So this is another, I think this might be the Trailhead Direct and public transit question, but will there be buses again this year? So that's just something that we're still waiting to hear on the exact locations of Trailhead Direct. So I'm not sure, can't answer that right now, but definitely excited that that is a possibility to engage with people. All right, where do you plan to stage the equipment for each trailhead?
We have a shed set up at Lake Sammamish State Park that has its own private entrance, and you'll be given, if you are assigned or if you have signed up to be the person to transport the items up to the trailhead, then you'll be given access to that location and be able to put the stuff in the car. We're going to be, the last webinar question came up with, well, how much space do I need to have in my car? Right now it's a canopy and a table and a little bit of collateral stuff like maps and that sort of thing. So probably, I would guess, if you've got a Subaru or a Prius, then what, are you a Seattleite? I mean, come on, really? So you probably can stuff all that stuff in your car.
All right. I think I already signed up for the form, but I cannot find an email confirmation. How can I check? So if you've signed up for the form, we have your information, we have your form, and then we're just collecting those right now. So unfortunately, there's not a way for you to check. That's just like a flaw in our backend system. But I can reach out to you, Tim, to make sure we have it, but I'm sure we do. There's just no way that you would have gotten a confirmation.
Well, maybe you could share what's the target date for sending out that confirmation?
Oh yeah, great question. So you'll be reached out to within the next 2 weeks. So before the end of March, definitely, of course, because we want to make sure everyone has the appropriate time to get their training out there. So I don't want to give a hard date because I'm not entirely sure. We need to talk through that as a committee. But yeah, so keep an eye out for those. All right, will volunteers be walking the trails or staffing the booths at the trailheads? Good question, Deloa.
Yeah, great question. As a trailhead ambassador, you'll be staffing booths at the trailhead.
Awesome. And another one for you, Deloa. Can you sign up with your significant other and work together?
If your significant other has gone through the trailhead ambassador training, and you have gone through the Trailhead Ambassador training, then you can sign up to work together to staff an ambassador booth at the trailhead.
Awesome. All right, I think I just answered this one about the interest form. All right, so are we going to have a chance to clean up the trails? Also, how do we make sure that any of the flyers we give don't end up as additional trash on the trails? Rick, you want to grab that one?
Sure. So this specific program is not going to involve any maintenance or litter pickup activities, but many of our partners are engaged in those activities. So we will have opportunities for you to do that if you want to do those activities kind of in a different setting. And how do you ensure that visitors don't throw the brochures that they take on the side? Well, I actually ask people that, hey, when you're done with this this brochure, feel free to drop it back off, or so we can recycle it and use it for somebody else. You know, just asking is usually the best way to do that.
Yeah, and we've also discussed having like limited things that we give out actually to prevent some of that unintentional dropping and things like that. So good question. That's one that we've puzzled over for quite a bit.
In
All
some,
right. Oh,
in some
yes,
cases,
Suzanne?
I was just gonna say, in some cases, we may be able to encourage people just to take a picture with their phone
Mm-hmm.
if it's not really something that they need to take with them.
Yeah. Oh, this is a question on schedule. Do ambassadors serve at the trailhead 7 days a week or just on weekends?
Just on the weekends for this pilot year. We'll see if we can expand it in the year to come.
All right. How are you going to encourage us to discuss dog poop bags? My pet peeve, no pun intended.
Well, we have worked on some mini programs on dog poop bags and how to deal with those. So you're going to have to wait and see, but it involves the use of a hard-sided container to put your dog poop bag in when you're hiking. So you got to be prepared, and perhaps we may even be able to do some giveaways to people if we can find the right sponsors to give away hard-sided containers to put your full dog poop bags in, so you can stick it into your backpack and hike with it without getting a mess.
All right. A parking question. So what is the parking going to look like for the ambassadors? So this is a question we got last time as well. We'll be working closely with the land managers so that they know when there will be a booth out there. And we'll be thinking through some of those parking, if there's a possibility to cone off a spot for the ambassadors to ensure that, like the night before, to ensure that they are able to have a location to park. But yeah, that's something that we are thinking through more so, but working closely with our land management agencies to ensure that that's not an issue for our ambassadors. Oh, yes. Okay, sorry, Rick, you can answer this too. It's just going to be available after.
Yeah, I am going to be editing this as soon as possible. So then we'll get a recorded version of the webinar out and available as soon as we can. So at the very latest, early next week.
All right. Thank you for this comment. That's great. We're glad that you're happy for this too. All right, when will we learn if we made the cut? We haven't really discussed cutting people out. I don't think that's really our intention at all. So we're hopeful with this virtual training that we'll actually be able to have like a self-paced inclusion of people who are interested in this volunteer opportunity. So we're hopeful that we'll be able to accommodate all of the demand. So there won't be like a, I'm sorry, this didn't work out for you type of email. This is a volunteer opportunity that we're really excited to engage everyone with. Okay, we've got a lot more questions and not that much time, so I'm trying to see ones that we haven't done just yet. But okay, so this is for the land managers in the room. So for participants who might find an interest in leveraging their experience in this program into a career in the outdoors, how might this experience benefit them towards a career in a related field? Basically, do your agency look for this type of experience when hiring?
And I say, yes, we definitely do. Volunteer work in the field that you're going to be working in is highly regarded when we do interviews and review job applications. So this certainly would definitely be a positive in someone's job application for working for a natural resource organization like state parks.
Yeah, and I can speak from a nonprofit perspective. This type of experience is super valuable, especially with understanding partnerships and understanding how to communicate, and having that volunteer experience is super helpful. That's how I actually ended up in the position that I'm in. So definitely something that is looked for. All right, we only have a couple questions, a couple minutes left for questions, so we'll try to get to you all, but if you have more, please reach out afterwards. So Suzanne, I'm going to toss this to you. Another question on Trailhead Direct: can ambassadors on board the bus provide stewardship info and routes?
So assuming that the Trailhead direct bus route does start up again this year, because I haven't heard for certain that that's the case. If that is the case, that is an option that I think would be interesting to explore. It might be another good way of meeting people where they're at and being able to get more bang for the buck. You have kind of a captive audience. If you're sitting there on the bus with them, you could do a lot of education in the ride from the say the Capitol Hill location all the way out to Issaquah. It's not something that we have nailed down, and again, it will depend a lot on whether the Trailhead direct bus route is reestablished for this year because of COVID.
Yes. All right. I'm gonna scroll down. One that's sticking out to me right now is can my dog be with me at the booth? Great question. Thanks for asking that. Rick, do you want to answer it?
Sure. Unfortunately, we're going to ask that you leave your pets at home while you're volunteering. So obviously, when you go out hiking, that you're welcome to bring your pet as long as they're on a leash. But since you're going to be interacting with so many people, it's difficult to manage your pet and deal with visitors. So we're going to ask everybody to leave their pets at home for this program.
Thanks, Rick. Okay, I'm gonna answer one that is about volunteers' hours. So these are about a half-day shifts, so they'll be about 5 hours in total. And so those are mainly in the morning, so from like 9 to 12, and then we have the transportation on the external ends of that for picking up equipment and dropping it off. So those might change based on certain trailheads busyness, but thinking the mornings, the half-day shift in the morning. All right, I think that we might have time for one more question. Thank you for those answering via typing. So I'm going to pass this to Deloa. Will there be an opportunity to volunteer on a weekday rather than a weekend?
Yeah, good question. The Trailhead Ambassador booths will be set up on the weekends starting this year, this summer, hopefully. So it's weekends only at this point.
All right, thanks, Deloa. Well, thank you all for your awesome questions. It's just so clear that you are ready and eager to get out there. You're already trying to expand the program and the pilot year, so it's just super exciting to see that. And again, thank you for our awesome panelists for taking the time to talk about this program more. It's been super fun to do these webinars with you all. So remember, those follow-up action items are to fill out the interest form, wait for the online training because that will be a required component of this opportunity, and then also share with a friend or share with someone else who you might find is interested in this if it might not be for you or if you wanted to do it with them. But thank you all for the time this evening, and I look forward to meeting you. All right. Bye, everybody.